What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, stop what you are doing right now. The Indiana Fever just made history. All 44 games nationally televised this season. Every single game. On ABC, ESPN, NBC, CBS, Prime Video, every major network. That has never happened before in WNBA history. And when they posted the promo for this announcement, they put Kelsey Mitchell front and center, not Caitlin Clark. Kelsey. Mitchell and the internet absolutely lost its mind. Then Jason Whitlock stepped in, and what he said? It made everything 10 times bigger. We are breaking down everything today. Stay till the end because this story has a lot of layers that most people are missing. Drop a like before we start. Let's go. All right. So first, let's appreciate how big this announcement actually is. Paige games. All nationally televised. Think about that for a second. Every single Indiana Fever game this season, you can watch on national TV. No blackouts, no streaming only. ABC, ESPN, NBC, CBS, Prime Video, ION, every major network is carrying Fever games this year. To put that in perspective, the Dallas Wings have 36 national games. The New York Liberty have 35. The Las Vegas Aces, the defending champions, only have 33. The Indiana Fever have more national TV games than every single team in the league, combined. Why? Everyone knows why. It is because of Caitlin Clark. She came into this league 2 years ago and changed everything. Games that nobody was watching before. Suddenly, people were tuning in from all over the country. Ratings went up. Ticket prices went up. Arenas that were half empty before Clark showed up, suddenly selling out. The WNBA saw this happening and said, okay, we need to put this team on TV every single night. That is the Caitlin Clark effect. That is why those 44 games exist. So when the Fever put out the promo graphic for this announcement, the first thing every fan did was look, okay, who is front and center? Kelsey Mitchell, right there, front and center. Caitlin Clark is in the graphic, yes, but she is on the side. Mitchell is the main face of this promo, and I want you to just think about that for a second before we get into the reactions. Because this is the exact same thing that happened back in 2024 when the WNBA playoffs promo came out and Clark was on the side then too. The Fever and the league have done this before, and every single time, fans notice. So the moment that graphic went up on April 22nd, X went crazy. Let me show you what people were saying. Why is Kelsey front and center? Caitlin Clark is the reason those 44 games exist. Not Kelsey. Caitlin. The Fever really said Mitchell is the face of this team. I cannot. Free Caitlin Clark. I actually like Kelsey Mitchell. But come on. Everyone knows who those 44 national TV games are for. Now, these are Fever fans saying this. Not haters. Not people who do not like the team. These are the people who buy the tickets, watch every game, wear the jerseys. And they are confused. They are frustrated. And then, Jason Whitlock saw the graphic. Jason Whitlock. If you do not know who he is a sports analyst. He hosts a podcast called Fearless. And for the past 2 years, he has been one of the loudest voices saying, the WNBA does not properly protect and promote Caitlin Clark. And when he saw this promo on April 23rd, he went straight to X and posted this. The Indiana Fever announced all 44 of their games will be on national television. And on the promo, they had Kelsey Mitchell front and center instead of Caitlin Clark. This is intentional. The WNBA continues to kill Caitlin with paper cuts rather than embrace her. Paper cuts. That phrase, paper cuts, that is the part that hit people. Because he is not saying the Fever punched Clark in the face. He is saying it is small things, tiny things. One promo here, one press conference comment there. One time her name gets mentioned last. Paper cuts, each one alone. You barely feel it. But over and over and over, they add up. And fans who have been watching this situation for 2 years, they immediately knew exactly what he meant. because they have been seeing these paper cuts happen in real time. Now the question is Whitlock right? Is this actually intentional? Or is he just making a mountain out of a molehill? Let me give you both sides, and then you decide. Okay. Here is the argument that says Whitlock has a point. Look, those 44 national TV games. The WNBA gave them to the Fever because of one reason. Caitlin Clark drives ratings. That is it. Full stop. The Fever could have the best roster in the league, and if Clark was not on it, they would not have 44 national games. They would have maybe 20. Maybe. Outkick actually wrote about this and said, for most of her first 2 seasons, the league treated Clark like just another player. They would stick her on the back of posters, leave her out of promos, and then quietly benefit from the ratings and ticket sales her name generated. So you are telling me, the same team that owes its entire national TV deal to one player, cannot put that player front and center on the promo announcing that deal? That is the argument. And honestly, when you say it out loud like that, it is hard to disagree. And Whitlock did not stop at the promo. He kept going. Because there were also reports coming out this week that the May 9 season opener, Fever vs. Dallas Wings, was not selling out the way people expected. This is supposed to be the biggest game in WNBA history. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers, 2 of the most famous players in women's basketball right now. First regular season game, all 18,000 seats at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, nationally televised, and reports said that around 30% of tickets were still unsold, with the upper levels more than 40% empty. So Whitlock went on his podcast and said this: the Indiana Fever are struggling to sell out their first home game. They're struggling to sell tickets for Caitlin Clark. That is not a good omen. That is a sign that the WNBA is about to potentially crash and burn. They have probably already burned up the goodwill that Caitlin Clark earned them. Now, is that too dramatic? Maybe. Ticket prices for this game are extremely high. A lot of fans want to go, but literally cannot afford it. That is probably a big part of why seats are still available. It is not necessarily that people do not want to come. It might just be that the prices are too high. But Whitlock's bigger point is still interesting. If the league has been building this whole thing on Clark's name, and that name is not selling seats the way it used to, that is something worth paying attention to. Okay, now here is where it gets interesting. Because here is the thing that Whitlock and the angry fans are kind of ignoring. Caitlin Clark herself has been one of Kelsey Mitchell's biggest supporters all off-season long. Earlier this year, Clark was on NBC, and she was asked about free agency. What does Indiana need to do this off-season? And Clark said this, without hesitation. My running mate. She makes it real easy for me. Clark said that on national television. She was literally out here campaigning for Mitchell before the contract was even signed. She was not worried about Mitchell getting more attention. She was not worried about the promo. She wanted Mitchell back. And she said it publicly. And the Fever can also argue, look, we have been putting Clark front and center all offseason. When the 2026 schedule was announced back in March, Clark opened that video. At Media Day last week, every behind-the-scenes post started with Clark. She has been the face of this team all year. This one graphic, maybe it was just the Fever saying, hey, Kelsey Mitchell carried us through a brutal injury year, and she deserves her flowers too. And Kelsey Mitchell herself, she came out and talked about this. She talked about how Clark actually played a big role in her deciding to stay with the Fever, because that is real. That is not PR. That is one teammate telling you, the person you supposedly got put over in a promo, that same person helped convince me to stay on this team. There is no drama between Clark and Mitchell. Zero. These two are good. They have been good. They played together and unrivaled during the offseason. They talked about making sacrifices for each other. They both wanted to win a championship together. The only drama is from the outside, from fans and analysts looking at one graphic and deciding there is a war happening inside the building. there is no war. And honestly, you want to know what Caitlin Clark was doing during all this drama? While Whitlock was tweeting, while fans were arguing on X, while everyone was debating the promo, she was at Media Day doing this. She grabbed a film camera, like from the 1990s, she literally said that, and she turned it around on the reporters. She started taking photos of the press. She told them to squeeze in. She was laughing. She was joking around. This is a player who does not care about the drama. She is locked in. She is happy. She is having fun. She just wants to play basketball and win a championship. And you know what? That might actually be the most powerful thing she could do in response to any of this. Not a tweet, not a press conference statement, just be completely unbothered because confident people do not need to defend themselves. And Caitlin Clark is extremely confident right now. So now let me ask you the real question that nobody else is asking. Does it even matter? Because here is the thing. Whether the Fever put Clark front and center on every promo, or on the side, or not in the photo at all, she is still Caitlin Clark. She is still going to step on that court May 9th. She is still going to have all 44 games nationally televised. She is still going to be the most watched player in women's basketball. A promo graphic does not change that. But, and here is the but, perception does matter when it comes to the WNBA as a business. The league right now is at a really important moment. They have the biggest TV deal in their history. They have the most exciting young players they have ever had. They have Clark, Bueckers, Reese, Aja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, all active at the same time. This could genuinely be the golden era of women's basketball. But if the league keeps making decisions, even small ones, even unintentional ones, that make it look like they are uncomfortable with Clark's stardom, that narrative is going to follow them. And it gives people like Whitlock ammunition every single time. The Fever could have avoided this entire conversation with one simple choice. 1. Put Clark front and center. Done. No story. No drama. No tweets. No video from us. Right now. But they did not. And here we are talking about it. So, where do you land on this? Is Jason Whitlock right? Is the WNBA and the Fever genuinely working against Caitlin Clark, the same player who is making them all this money? Or is this one promo graphic that got way more attention than it deserved and everyone needs to calm down? Honestly, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. The Fever are not enemies of Clark. Clark and Mitchell are genuinely good teammates, but the optics keep landing wrong. And in 2026, optics travel at the speed of Twitter. So the Fever need to be smarter about this. What do you think? Drop it in the comments. I want to know exactly where you stand on this one. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you doing? May 9 is less than 2 weeks away. Clark versus Bueckers. Season opener. We are going to be covering every single story every single day. You do not want to miss it. See you in the next one.